Hello, today we're going to do a walkthrough of this session that I delivered in May of 2023 to a boys' third grade team on functional positioning and finishing from wing play, finishing from crosses, delivering from crosses from left and right, and the off-ball runs to receive those crosses. So in the welcome activity, it was a pretty simple setup. I had a collection of balls on the side of the field, and as players were arriving, I'd have them line up at the top of the box, and I would just serve balls in towards the top of the six, helping the players to learn how to use their weak foot, usually their left foot, to just block the ball into the net. Too many times, especially younger players, are afraid to use their weaker foot, or they try to take a big swing at it. And all that really is needed here is for them to block the ball off with the big instep of their foot and use the force of the cross to direct the ball into the net. So as more players arrived, we made this a little bit more realistic, where the player in the front had to pull away and go around the line of players, maintaining eye contact with the ball. And then once they got around the line of players, made their run to the top of the six where the cross was delivered to be able to play in. In this way, it mimicked them having to pull out of a position to drop off to find space in a crowded box and then remake a run back into that space to find a attacking position in front of the box. I would deliver different crosses, more angled, more flat, bouncing in the air, and of course we switched over to the other side to let them use their stronger foot. We also worked on briefly having them be able to open up the hips to face the ball so that they could sweep a ball in with their strong foot, their right foot in this case. That was more useful when you're coming in from a further angle as opposed to coming down the center. So here's our setup. I'm using half a size of field. I'm using cones to help delineate the outer channels that are made from top of the box to top of the box across the field. Some diagonal sort of runway lines from corner to corner heading to the back to the corners of the post. A cone at the top of the 6 and a cone somewhere up at the top of the 18. You can see here a collection of balls with the player waiting to take his turn. This is to represent additionally a ball coming from the center back to the out wide to the winger. We have our strikers, we have our opposite wing, and we have our midfielders. So how this would work is the ball would be played from this player to here, and then the activity was live. The 11 would take a move and play and dribble down this wing. The 8 would move with them, supporting them in case in a real game they might have to play a 1-2 around a defender. But then more importantly, they have to make this S-shaped run to arrive at the top of the box while being able to face where this cross is going to come from. The 9 is heading to the penalty, to the top of the 6. Ideally, you want this player to make some sort of diagonal run and then come into this space, perhaps out and in, more complicated in and out, but either way. And the 7 is going to maintain their channel spacing, and then as they hit the corner of this box, is going to make a beeline towards the back stick or the back post. As this play comes down, the delivery of the ball comes across the top of the 6, where the 9 or the 7 hopefully are in a good position to block that ball into the net. The 8, it's very important for them not to crowd where the 9 is, but to really stay at the top of the box, almost as a garbage collector, we like to say, so that deflections, attempted clearances, anything where the ball might try to pop out of the box, they're there to sweep up this play and have another shot on net. Additionally, if this player has time and can see this player open, they may be able to pull the ball back. When you pull the ball back into the opposite direction of play, into the space, because very often the space is going to be wide open because the defenders are going to sag towards the goal line, chasing the striker and or the opposite winger, and the winger coming down this way. Because most players are right-footed at this age, and that's their stronger foot, they tend to be able to take a cross deeper on the field and deliver it across the top of the face of the box, as opposed to what we're going to look at on the other side. To make this a little bit more urgent for the 11, what I found is after this player made the pass, have this player chase this player down. It'll add a little urgency to this player to get down the wing, to get away from this player coming after them, to make it a little bit more realistic for game speed. So timing of the runs to stay on side. Remind how to find the channels by looking across the 18. The 8, of course, has the most complicated job, as we talked about. They can't crowd the space. They need to support the wide run and then get into the middle. What's important is after the 11 makes that cross, they should head towards the near post so that they seal off that side of the box for rebounds and deflections. Once they make the cross, their job isn't done. Now they have to head towards the net. As we said too, with right-footed crosses, the ball tends to be flat or parallel to the goal line, or even reverse, pulled back towards the top of the box, because the 11 can travel further down the channel and still deliver a strong cross with their strong foot. Now, from the left side, we've made an accommodation, realizing that most players at this age, their weaker foot is not strong enough to deliver the same sort of cross from the same sort of area. So what we've instructed these players to do is when they get to about this area, is to take a move to cut inside across the top of the 18, parallel to it, and then deliver the ball in a more diagonal fashion. So here's our setup. Again, the 7 here has the collection of balls. They're pretending to be the defender, passing it up. We have our midfield, we have our strikers, and we have the wide 11 making the same sort of runs. Again, as we talk about, this cross tends to be less from this area and more diagonal because the play is going to come down, make a right-hand turn, as it were, and then deliver this cross towards the back post. Or taking a shot at net where the 9 and the 11 are coming in to either gather rebounds, blocks, or watch the ball go in the net. The 8, again, has the most complicated job where they have to make this run almost mimicking what the 7 does, coming down, then pulling out, and then landing themselves at the top of the box, looking for rebounds, looking for any goal line clearances. With this type of cross, it's much more likely that the 11 is going to get the ball on their foot to make this play in because of the diagonal nature versus the 9 because it's a little bit shallower angle and it's a little bit harder to direct that ball on net, and also attracts a lot of attention. Again, you can use this player to chase this player after they make the pass to add some urgency to the drill. So again, same coaching points from this side, except that making that move to cut in to run parallel to the goal line creates a different angle for the ball to come in. We finished our practice with a small-sided game where we took a net and we moved it up here to make a shorter goal, so there was more things going back and forth. And we encouraged the movements in the session, and any goals that were scored from crosses counted as 2 times as an incentive for them to continue working on this. So after this practice, we had this practice on a Friday before a game. We explained to them how the balls into the box from the right and the left side of both youth players is slightly different because of their stronger foot. We talked about the body shape is important, and we practiced unopposed to refine the techniques, and then you can add a keeper and defenders to increase the difficulties. Also, we talked about on the right side, it is an option to play that cross early, which means that the shape of that cross is a little bit more like the left-sided one, more of a diagonal in, but that really is dependent on how far back the defenders are to make sure that players coming into the box are onside. So for our results, in the next game, our team repeatedly created chances from outside to inside. In the first half, we scored 2 goals and had at least 5 other chances that players missed. The field we were playing on was very uneven and made some very difficult bounces from movements. At halftime, players themselves were super excited to see things that they had done in practice the day before coming to fruition. They were having success and they wanted to do it more. And so we scored 4 more in the second half, exactly like this going in the other way. And in 2 of the goals, the crossing player was the one who ended up with the goals because they continued their run into the box and cleaned up the deflections or the clearance attempts as they came in from the side. We scored from both sides, but the majority were from the right side deliveries. So I hope this practice can help you teach your players how to make those runs without the ball and attack from the wide areas. It's had some great success with the 3rd grade team, and hopefully it can do the same for you.